this is Craig Stevens, and we're creating this podcast for a group studying for their PMP certification. And for this podcast, our subject will be project roles, people who are connected to projects, their titles, and what they actually do. You can find the information that this podcast is related to on the website. Now, I have a camera above my computer, and I'm looking at the website below my computer, so my eyes will be darting up and down. And also, I have material related to the PMP in front of me. Go on to project roles, and we scroll down a little bit, and let's look at the stakeholders. Now, stakeholders, in the broadest sense, is anybody that a project affects. So it could be the sponsor, the person who's paying for it. It could be the senior management, those people making the strategic decisions. Could be the project manager. That's a stakeholder. Your stakeholder too is a project manager. It could be your team. Could be the users of the product that you're making. Could be regulatory agencies, all kinds of regulatory agencies. Could be the users as far as the clients outside of your organization. Could be citizens. Could be the people in the community who live next to the building you're building. Could be politicians. Could be politicians. So anybody you can think of that has some kind of stake in how well your project performs, that's a stakeholder. May have a positive influence and may have a negative influence. So stakeholders could have both positive or negative influences. Could be a competitor. Project team. Let's see. Now the project team, especially the project manager, must identify the stakeholders. Sometimes the BA can do this. Business analysts can do this in support of the project manager. Determine the requirements and expectations. Now that's what PMBOK says. The PMBOK guide says that. And if you look at the business analyst guide, it would say that determine requirements and expectations is one of the roles of the BA. Manage their influence and expectations to ensure success. So manage the influence of the team. The team, especially the project manager, must manage their influence and expectations to ensure success. So you have to manage this in order with other stakeholders before you can be successful. Ignoring stakeholders is very dangerous because you'll have major problems if you do. Okay, the next subject is functional managers. Alright, the functional manager may be, now this functional managers are directly related to organizational structural issues. There are some organizational structures that do not have functional managers. And so if you have an organization that has functional managers, the functional manager would be the person in charge of, say, a division that may be doing engineering, or a division that may be doing sales, or a division of the company that may be doing accounting, or HR, human resources. So a functional manager would be over those particular functions. Now, the example we had earlier in this podcast was related to sales software, CRM, customer relationship management software. That if your project was to implement this, you would probably get the functional manager involved with the sales force and maybe even HR, but the sales force would be the group that would be using this software along with other people possibly. Now, assist with planning resource requirements. The functional manager will assist the project manager in planning the resource requirements. The functional manager will provide resources that the project manager may use. Now, there's a whole bunch of different organizational structures, so remember, the functional manager is not necessarily involved in every single organization. The functional manager will often look at the priorities whenever there's a conflict between the project needs and the function, or other conflicts. The functional manager sometimes has more authority to solve conflicts. The functional manager, to give you a specific example, is the functional manager may handle HR issues with team members and with others related to the project. Alright, so the next thing on our list is we have a project management office. Now, PMO can be titled several different things. It could be Program Management Office, could be Program Management Organization, could be Project Management Office, could be Project Management Organization, but as far as the PMP is concerned, they're probably going to use Project Management Office. Now, Project Management Office is and I'll read what's on the PMBOK, and then we'll talk about other possibilities. So Project Management Office is a centralized project support organization. Centralized, that means one office that kind of coordinates the project management support within the organization. The PMO will provide training, software, standardized policy and procedures, and maybe provide someone to actually manage the software or program the software. And sometimes there's a couple different ways to look at a PMO. PMO could be a purely support organization, or it could be one with a lot of teeth and authority. Now, if you think of in the future, every manager is going to have to manage a project at some time. Probably the best fit for a program management office is support function, because if you put everybody who's ever going to do a project under a project management office, then you eventually have all the managers reporting to the project management office, which sometimes is a little unwieldy and would be the equivalent of making the PMO director the CEO, because everybody reports to them, at least during projects. So I kind of like it where the PMO does all the training, sets all the standards, organizes the rules and regulations for projects to go by, creates a whole network of people who can work on other people's projects, maybe run the software, because as a project manager, your goal isn't to be the best programmer for software. Your goal is to be the best person to get results from your team and to influence your team. So the PMO would be a natural place to have a whole bunch of support people, so they can help you put the schedule together, and you can redline it, and they can correct it, and on and on and on, do those kind of things. Now, level of authority varies within organization. That's just what we said, and it says on my notes related to the PMP, what you might need to know is that the support service could be support service like we talked, or it could be complete project control. And to me, complete project control is kind of too much authority a lot of times. Now, along with this project management office, one of the responsibilities is going to be project audits to see if everybody's following the rules. That's often important. Okay, let's see what else we got. We have steering committee, and the steering committee could be in some organizations, may not be in other organizations, may be at certain levels of projects, may not be for the small projects. But a steering committee could be a group of high-level stakeholders who are responsible for providing guidance on a project's strategic direction. Now that's what I have typed down, so you can read that. Think of the steering committee as in a complicated project. They may require different technical expertise because it is complicated. It may require electrical, mechanical, and architects and builders and all kinds of people in order to make something. And this is the majority of the material related to roles and responsibilities, and we'll talk about this some more, not the roles and responsibilities, but how it fits into the organizational structure on later podcasts. My name is Craig Stevens. You can reach me at craigastevens.com, and I'll see you in the next podcast.